think screen is visible to everyone. So first thing is scenario outline. What is mean by scenario outline? So how can we say that scenario outline concept in Cucumber helps the user in order to create the outline of the scenario what you have been designed with the script purpose. So here the scenario outline concept, basically we are going to give the statements in the feature file. So how it needs to be, we'll see. Yeah, so here basically this scenario outline is a format of changing the variables what you have been designed. So here let's design one format. I'm going to have one normal feature file so that you'll be able to understand what needs to be done there in that feature file, and we will use that particular scenario outline. Scenario outline. So this scenario outline, first I'm going to mention the scenario given user navigate to open cart. When I enter valid username and password, then login should be success. Login should be success. I'm going to take one more scenario as we discussed earlier. Scenario given user navigates to open cart. This scenario may or may not be in open cart, but for our representation I am mentioning everything. When I enter valid email address and password, then login should be success. So then login should be success. There are so many ways to represent the scenario outline for this particular program, but for our reference I'm going to create one scenario outline related to this particular functionality. So for our reference, I'm creating a scenario outline like this. Feature is scenario outline. Scenario outline is login functionality for a OpenCart website given user navigates to OpenCart when I enter username as first we have username, right? Username and password as password. This should be in double quotations because this we are generating it from other end. Then login should be success. Then login should be success. Last time when we create a feature file, we mention only one scenario, stating that scenario given user navigates to so and so website, so enter username, valid username, enter valid password, so then login should be successful. Like that we have given few scenarios in the feature file. Then once you create the feature file, it's your responsibility to create the outline file also. So how to create the outline file? So just I'm using the same thing here. So this is my feature file. I think given username scenario, I think it won't get executed. Huh? We'll see. One moment, guys. Is my voice not audible? Oh, okay. Just I'm executing this one. Why it is executing some other thing? Can anybody share your screen? I'll give permissions if you people have this configuration and all those things. Do you have complete set of configuration, Harshita?
I'm Shiva Prasad here.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm
yes.
attending these classes from my mobile, so I didn't connect to my laptop.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Harshita, iPad. Okay, fine. Give me a moment. I'll share my screen. So, because here some execution, some configuration has been changed, so that is the reason it is showing me this error. So, give me a moment. I'll rectify this one and I'll explain you what needs to be done here. But the theme of this scenario outline, basically the theme of this scenario outline is, once you create the feature file, here my concept is I have created one login functionality or any other thing. The feature name would be like regarding vehicles. Yeah, so the feature file would be like this. So here I have created a feature file where I have all these scenarios. In this particular scenarios, in this particular scenario, I want to populate the data where I need to get the data from some example file or some other file or some other outline file. So the outline file will be based on what needs to be done here. Here, if you observe this outline file, you are going to see SO file. We can make this as a SO file. So here in this outline file, I'm going to mention this is a scenario outline, this is given, this is when and then, but here all the parameters will be passed from the feature file, it seems. So that is the reason scenario outline is basically how many records that you want to log into the application, how many records that you want to insert, how many records that you want to search. All these things will be carried out through scenario outline only. That scenario outline will be represented in another feature file where you are going to pass the parameters. That parameters will fetch the data from the feature file like this, as I mentioned. So like this is an example format where I have mentioned all these things. In this example format, I have mentioned n, x and y. These are variables where I use these variables in outline file, where I use these variables in the outline file, n and x and y. So these variables are used in the scenario outline where total number of cars are here, and then x is the value and y is the remaining value. I hope just you understand the theoretical concept, but we will see it practically how it needs to be executed once after this conceptualized theoretical part has been completed. So it's all about the basic theoretical part of scenario outline. So once scenario outline has been done, along with this only parameterization will be happened through scenario outline. This is nothing but the concept of parameterization, passing n number of variables to the script. Here first record it is going to be executed, and then it is going to execute the second record. If we have third record, it is going to execute third record, like that. But when you have thousands of records, when you have thousands of records, then are we going to mention all the thousands of records line by line here? We can't. So that is
No.
the reason, yes, that is the reason we have a concept called step definition file, where you are going to write the script like a Selenium WebDriver, like a Selenium WebDriver test-ng framework. You are going to pass the data from the external source file, where you are going to mention driver.find element by id so on, so send key some, what is the column name that you are going to mention there. That is another topic where we are going to pass the data from the pass the data to the Selenium WebDriver script through test-ng. But as part of scenario outline, when you are trying to pass the parameters, if one or two or three or four or 10 parameters, that's fine. If there are maximum parameters, then you need to design a script in such a way that whatever the script format that you are going to design in Selenium WebDriver test-ng framework. So we'll see that sample script also. But apart from that, first we'll continue with these concepts, pending concepts, and then we'll go with the extra things like Selenium WebDriver test-ng with Cucumber. So how to pass the parameters in such case. Once these things completed, we'll do this practical session. Any questions, guys?
Hmm. Shiva, I have a doubt here.
Yep.
Like in future file, we have mentioned two scenarios, right? For the same
Yes.
task. So,
Yes.
but we are passing the data here also for like two, like the data in two lines, like for looping.
Yes.
So, because it is the same
uh,
task, we can mention a single scenario and we can loop it by using
yes.
this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. We can do that one. Just for our reference, I have created. We can do like this
Okay.
also.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
your
Yeah,
question, like
okay.
that is a point where we can have a single scenario and we can pass the multiple sets of data. That is fine, not a problem with that.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay.
And
Thanks.
coming to test runner. So Cucumber test runner file. What is this Cucumber test runner file? So test runner execution. So this test runner execution will be happened by designing the file testrunner.java. So what is the purpose of testrunner.java? So this testrunner.java file is used in order to execute our Cucumber script in a required format. In a required format. Here, the test runner file, just I have created one sample test runner file here. In this sample test runner file, we have a package. As usual, package will be there, and then the extra added things are these things: run with, Cucumber, format, features. So why we have mentioned all these four categories here, but even Cucumber.options is throwing me an error because of one Cucumber jar file is missing over there in the configuration part. I'll do that one. But here, these four things are mandatory when you are designing test runner file. So why these four things are mandatory? What is the purpose of this test runner file? How it needs to be executed? After execution, what will happen? Here, first point, at the rate run with is an annotation for Cucumber, where we are going to execute the script by using this at the rate run with annotation, and it will execute the script related to cucumber.class file. It will execute the script related to cucumber.class class file. So whatever the class file that we have been created, that class file will be uh, executed by using the annotation called run with. So sequence to this particular run with annotation, we have a options, cucumber options, where this options consists of format and features. What is format, what is features? Format is nothing but there are multiple formats for cucumber, but the most common used formats are pretty and json target. So what is pretty and what is json target? Pretty is nothing but it's a text format when you are generating the report of cucumber scripts. Suppose I have executed the script and I want to generate the report. That report format should be in a json file. That report format should be in a json file. In that json file, the text format should be in pretty format. That is what I'm mentioning here. There are so many options, or there are so many formats that you can change here, like csv or some other formats. You can change it here. If you are going to consider, just pretty format is one of the font format where you are going to have all the output in this text font, in this font. So that is the reason the most common used font formats and the target files are pretty and json target. So how it is going to be executed, from where it needs to be executed means from the source folder cucumber.features. From here, from this feature file, the cucumber script need to be executed. That is what we are giving path here. Once these feature files are executed, based on these feature files, if you have any step definition files in your system, that will get executed and will give you the output. That output will be in json target format, file format, and the text format should be in a pretty format. This is nothing but the concept of test runner, nothing more than that. Just it is in which format you want to execute the script is nothing but the concept of test runner file. Any questions, guys?
Yes, Siva. Actually, we have used cucumber dot class, right, at the rate at tag at the rate annotation run with. So
Yes.
this is we have created here a package is cucumber.
Okay.
If you see in the left panel, package is cucumber. Inside that testrunner.java class. So,
Yes.
uh, but all the scripts we have to use cucumber class only.
Yeah, for all the script we need to use cucumber.class. Why? Because by default, when you are designing or when you are executing the script, it will try to fetch the data from the backend cucumber.class. This
Okay.
cucumber.class file is from the configuration.
Okay. Okay.
Is from the
Got it, sir.
configuration. Yes.
Okay. Got it. Got it, sir. Okay.
Harshita, do you have any questions in this?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Next thing, data table. So what is mean by data table? How it is going to be used in our data tables concept? I think yesterday we discussed about one single comment regarding this data table, but in this data table we have multiple things here. Multiple things means multiple sets of data when we are passing to the script, how it needs to be executed. This data table concept will support you the single record where you want to execute with that particular thing. But if you want to pass multiple sets of data, you need to use scenario outline. You
So
need to
are we
use,
not running the program, the one you have written so far?
sorry, yes, we will execute, Harshita, but at the end of this session I'll execute, because I need to configure few more files into this. Due to time being processed, I am completing the theoretical concept and then I'll execute this one. No need to worry, I'll execute
Okay.
this one.
No, no, I'm not worried. Whatever files you want, you will be configuring. Just let us know, because whatever you did, I did in the same thing in my system. So if
Okay.
anything is missed, just I'll make sure that even I will configure them.
So nothing has been missed here from your end. Whatever the files that we have been discussed in the earlier session, those files we need to configure. Actually, till now I used my office laptop because of the problem in my own laptop. Now the laptop has been changed. I am using my own laptop where I have downloaded all the Cucumber jar files in the system. I am being in the process of configuration. That is the reason I need to configure. I am saying that's it. So nothing more than that. The files what we have downloaded earlier, the same files we need to configure now itself. See, whatever the things that we have downloaded: Cucumber core, Java, JUnit, JVM, depths, reporting, Spring, Jerkin, so JDK, JUnit. So all these things we downloaded in the earlier session, in our earlier configuration. The same files we are going to configure there. So anyhow, I'll do that process, and I'll show it to you how it needs to be executed. Did you understand?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Next thing. So here we can change the format here in test runner file. It may be JSON or it may be HTML format. Any format is fine. So like this, we need to change HTML, target, Cucumber. Like this we can change the format. Next thing, I hope this data table concept has been done with the single record, but our doubt is here: when we are passing multiple records, then how the script needs to be executed is our question here. So this multiple set of records we need to pass through scenario outline only. With the data table concept, we can pass only single set of record where it is having multiple columns. Suppose, let's say for example, I have a record where I need to insert the record with first name, last name, date of birth. So multiple columns will be there. That multiple set of data for that single record will be passed through data table. If you want to pass multiple records, multiple users into the system, then you need to use scenario outline. Indirectly, I am saying this data table and scenario outline concept are interlinked. Scenario outline concepts are interlinked. I hope you understood this point, right? Or any questions or any confusions?
No, sure.
Fine. So here, next thing is hooks. What is meant by hooks and tags? Where these hooks and tags are going to be used? Where the hooks and tags are being used? This hooks and tags concept is in Cucumber is nothing but it's all about the link how you are going to create. Okay, so let us discuss about tags first. Tags first. What is mean by tag? What is mean by tag? Any idea? Okay,
Tag
fine.
in HP. Okay.
Let me explain you. Tag is nothing but, suppose in your real time you are working with so many scenarios or so many testing activities where you need to execute multiple set of test cases in different scenarios. It may be regression scenario, or it may be sanity testing, or it may be functional testing, it may be compatibility testing. Whatever it might be, you are going to have multiple environments where you are going to have multiple runs related to this particular test cases. Suppose, let's say for example, I want to execute the Cucumber, whatever the scripts that have been designed in Cucumber, I want to execute that particular scripts in this particular format: at the rate, sorry, regression test I need to perform, system test I need to perform, smoke test I need to perform, functional test I need to perform. Suppose I have 4 testing activities where I need to execute all these 4 testing activities based on the priority. Suppose regression testing will be performed once you are testing, once your all bugs and everything has been tested and you have given test report for those. System testing is nothing but end-to-end testing where it is being compatible with all operating systems and browsers or not. Smoke testing means it's all about high priority testing before giving the application to customer. So whatever the major functionalities that we have, we are going to cover this in a random format. Functional testing means, as usual, functionality testing or business transaction testing or requirement testing that we need to perform. Suppose I want to create or I want to execute this particular project in smoke testing format. In smoke testing format, how can we execute this particular, suppose let's say for example, I have a project where I want to execute today. I'm going to release this application to end customer. Before giving release to end customer, I want to review whether that particular scripts are being executed in regression suite or not. Suppose I want to execute all the scripts in a regression format and smoke format, then I'll create at the rate regression test, which means you are executing the script in a regression suite, and then at the rate smoke test, at the rate smoke test, we are going to create the keywords like this: at the rate system test and at the rate functional test. So how we are going to use this particular annotations in this tags? Let us see. So if you want to include tags in a cucumber test environment, then you need to create a feature file for this tags. I'm going to create tags.feature as a file name. Here the file will be executed like this: functional test feature shopping cart application at the rate regression test at the rate smoke test scenario login given I'm going to copy this one, login at the rate regression test and at the rate smoke test. Suppose next case, I have one more case where I'm going to use scenario login at the rate smoke test. Here when I create a feature file, here my motto here is I want to perform the functional testing activity on each and every scenario, where first scenario should cover the regression test part as well as smoke testing part on this particular case, and second part should cover only smoke testing, means major functionality testing needs to be happened, regression testing is not required. So in that case, we are going to create a feature file like this. Once we create the feature file by using these tags at the rate tags, then the execution will be happened based upon the tags what we have been assigned to each and every scenario. So it is just simple thing, but commonly we are not going to use the concept of tags where it is going to be where it is going to be used in required cases, but not regularly. But we can use this tags concept when we are having mm, multiple multiple modules or multiple functionalities where it is going to deal with multiple things on daily basis. Any questions, guys? So hooks, coming to hooks. So just I'm going to design one script. I'll complete designing one script here regarding hooks concept. Feature test hooks testing scenario hooks functionality testing given this is the first step, when this is the second step, then this is the third step. So once I created this feature file, I'll create one step definition file. In this step definition file, I'm going to create at the rate given yesterday. I think Harshita asked me about regular expression. This is the first step. Is this? Yes. Public void first system dot out dot println. This is the first step. I'm going to copy this one. Once given completed, we have when this is the second step. This is second method. And next one is then at the rate. Then this is third step, and this is third step, This is second step. This is third step. I'm going to save this one. Import given annotation, import one annotation, import then annotation. So I'm going to create one package to design hooks program. So in this program, I'm going to design hooks like this. Before, I think you have seen these annotations: public void pre-scenario. So this is nothing but the concept of hook. So here, hooks are nothing but you are creating a link between your Cucumber script with the TestNG script or Selenium WebDriver script. Hooks are nothing but it's all about the link between one script to another script, where you are creating this hooks concept in another package, where we are creating this hooks concept in another package. So that is the reason we are using the annotations called hook. We are using the annotation called @before and @after. So basically, when you execute this particular step definition file or feature file related to this particular program, you are going to receive the error out, you are going to receive the output like this. So the output will be just as part of my analysis I am saying, but I don't have any uh, confirmation to say like this, but just analyzing this particular script, I am explaining you the output of this particular program scenario.
Uh, Shiva, the hooks are only before and after, or we can use at the rate test or at
At
the
the
rate
rate
before,
test
like
at the
how?
at the rate test also we can use.
Okay, only these three, Shiva.
Only these three, because at the rate method and at the rate class, everything will be considered as before and after only. Why?
Okay.
Because this hooks will depends upon, if you see what I have done here, I have created one, sorry, first I have created one feature file. Based on the output from the feature file, I have created one step definition file. From this step definition file, I have created hooks. Means here the execution will be controlled based upon this hooks concept. The execution will be controlled based upon this hooks concept. So here the output, the execution of this particular output will be happened like this. Hook 1 scenario, hook 1 scenario, and then this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step, and after that it will execute hook 2 scenario. Hook 2 scenario. The output will be represented like this. First it will execute at the rate before annotation and it will give you the output. Based on the output from this particular at the rate before annotation, it will navigate to step definition file and it will perform the action in between that. So once the action has been done, and again it will move to at the rate after annotation. That is a format of executing this hooks concept. That is a format of executing this hooks concept. Understood or any questions? First it will execute. So generally what will happen when you execute Selenium WebDriver program in TestNG? Harshita, will you please explain me about this?
Which one?
Selenium WebDriver with TestNG.
So like the
When
TestNG
you,
annotations or
yes, annotations are there. Let's say for example, you have a program like this. So I'm going to write a program like this, at the rate before test, at the rate test, at the rate after test. So how it is going to start with the execution part?
at the rate before test first, and then test,
So
and
how
then
you,
after test.
yeah, how can we give justification on that?
Because in before test we will be writing the whatever the browser we want to execute, whatever browser we want to open. In the at the rate test we will be writing the main program, and at the rate after test we will just close the browser.
Right. So here, when you click on execute button, when you click on run button in your program, first the program will try to search for at the rate test annotation. If it tries to search for at the rate test annotation, and then it will search for before test. If before test annotation is there, first it will execute before test, and then at the rate test, and then after test. Whatever the format you said is right. In the same format, at the rate test will be considered as a step definition file in Cucumber. This complete program will be considered as a at the rate test annotation in Cucumber. Before test and after test, anyways, you are going to mention it in hook. Before means before executing the step definition file, before annotation will be executed, and then step definition file will be executed, and then after test, after annotation will be executed in the Cucumber. That is the format of just executing the script where this output will be seen in the format. So first it will execute before annotation, and then it will execute at the rate test annotation, which is nothing but step definition file here. After that it will execute at the rate after annotation, at the rate after annotation. So here I hope you understood this concept. Still, if you have any questions, let me know.